Welcome to the Bible Quiz. Today, we're diving into an exhilarating journey through the Old Testament. We've curated 25 of the toughest questions from the book of Judges to challenge your biblical expertise. Are you ready to test your knowledge of these ancient scriptures? But hold on a moment before we jump into the questions. Be sure to subscribe and hit that like button. Your support enables us to spread the Word of God even further. After the quiz, don't forget to comment below with your score. We can't wait to see how you did. Are you prepared for this incredible adventure through the book of Judges? Let's get started. Question 1. Who collected honey out of a lion's carcass? A. Saul. B. David. C. Samson. D. Jonathan. You get 10 seconds. That's C. Samson. In Judges chapter 14, verses 8 to 9, Samson encountered a lion's carcass on his way to marry a Philistine woman. Inside the carcass, he found a swarm of bees and honey, which he scooped out and ate, sharing some with his parents without revealing its source. This act is part of Samson's story, highlighting his unconventional methods and strength granted by God. Question 2. Who was Deborah's husband? A. Barak. B. Gideon. C. Samson. D. Lapidoth. You get 10 seconds. That's D. Lapidoth. According to Judges chapter 4, verse 4, Deborah's husband was Lapidoth. Deborah, a prophetess and judge of Israel, was known for her wisdom and leadership. Together with Barak, she led Israel to victory over the Canaanite army commanded by Sisera. Lapidoth is mentioned briefly, emphasizing Deborah's significant role in Israel's history. Question 3. Whose riddle could the people only solve by cheating? A. Samson. B. Gideon. C. David. D. Saul. You get 10 seconds. That's A. Samson. Samson posed a riddle to the Philistines at his wedding feast, promising a reward if they could solve it. Unable to solve it, the Philistines coerced Samson's wife to extract the answer from him. She succeeded, and they solved the riddle by cheating. This incident escalated tensions between Samson and the Philistines, leading to further conflicts. Judges chapter 14, verses 12 to 18. Question 4. Which city refused to give food to Gideon's army? A. Jericho. B. Sukkoth. C. Bethel. D. Hebron. You get 10 seconds. That's B. Sukkoth. When Gideon and his 300 men were pursuing the Midianite king Zebah and Zalmunna, the leaders of Sukkoth denied them assistance. Gideon promised to return and punish them after his victory, demonstrating the challenges and lack of support he faced from fellow Israelites. Judges chapter 8, verses 4 to 6. Question 5. Who sacrificed his own daughter because of his vow to God? A. Saul. B. Jehu. C. Shimei. D. Jephthah. You get 10 seconds. That's D. Jephthah. Jephthah, a judge of Israel, made a vow to God that if he was given victory over the Ammonites, he would sacrifice whatever came out of the door of his house to greet him upon his return. Tragically, his daughter was the first to come out. Despite the vow's devastating nature, Jephthah fulfilled it, highlighting the severe consequences of rash vows. Judges chapter 11, verses 30 to 39. Your journey to never missing a quiz starts with the subscribe button. Click it now and stay connected with us. Question 6. Who stole Micah's priest and gods? A. The Danites. B. The Moabites. C. The Philistines. D. The Ammonites. You get 10 seconds. That's A. The Danites. This event is described in Judges chapter 18, verses 18 to 20. The Danites, seeking a new territory, took Micah's carved image, ephod, household gods, and his priest. The priest, seeing an opportunity for greater influence, willingly joined them. This act reflects the period's widespread idolatry and the moral decline during the time of the judges. Question 7. Which of the judges of Israel judged for 6 years? A. Gideon. B. Samuel. C. Samson. D. Jephthah. You get 10 seconds. That's D. Jephthah. He was a Gileadite and a mighty warrior who led Israel against the Ammonites. Despite his effective leadership in battle, his story is also marked by a tragic vow that led to the sacrifice of his daughter, highlighting the complexities of his judgeship. Judges chapter 12, verse 7. Question 8. Who had an upper millstone dropped on their head? A. Saul. B. Sisera. C. Abimelech. D. Goliath. You get 10 seconds. That's C. Abimelech. In Judges chapter 9, verses 52 to 53, Abimelech, the son of Gideon, was attacking the tower of Thebez when a woman dropped an upper millstone on his head, fatally wounding him. To avoid the disgrace of being killed by a woman, Abimelech asked his armor-bearer to kill him with a sword. This event underscores the violent and turbulent times during the judge's rule. Question 9. Who oppressed the people of Israel for 20 years? A. Jabin. B. Tobijah. C. Tubal-Cain. D. Nebuchadnezzar. You get 10 seconds. That's A. Jabin. Judges chapter 4, verses 1 to 3 describes that the Israelites were oppressed for 20 years by Jabin, the king of Canaan, and his commander Sisera. Their oppression was marked by harsh treatment and military dominance, until Deborah, a prophetess and judge, along with Barak, led a successful uprising against them, leading to Israel's deliverance. Question 10. Who tore a lion into pieces? A. Judah. B. Samson. C. David. D. Gideon. You get 10 seconds. That's B. Samson. Samson encountered a young lion while on his way to Timnah. The Spirit of the Lord came powerfully upon him, enabling him to tear the lion apart with his bare hands. Judges chapter 14, verses 5 to 6. This act demonstrated Samson's extraordinary strength, which was a gift from God, and set the stage for his subsequent feats against the Philistines. Question 11. Who killed Sisera while he was sleeping? A. A lion. B. A man. C. A woman. D. A donkey. You get 10 seconds. That's C. A woman. Judges chapter 4, verses 17 to 21 narrates the story of Jael, the wife of Heber the Kenite. Sisera, the commander of King Jabin's army, fled the battlefield and sought refuge in Jael's tent. While he was sleeping, Jael drove a tent peg through his temple, killing him. This act was significant in securing Israel's victory over the Canaanites and fulfilling Deborah's prophecy. Question 12. Which judge of Israel had 30 sons who rode 30 donkeys? A. Jair. B. Gideon. C. Othniel. D. Samson. You get 10 seconds. That's A. Jair. Jair, a judge of Israel, had 30 sons who rode 30 donkeys and controlled 30 towns in Gilead. Judges chapter 10, verses 3 to 4. His leadership and the notable detail of his sons riding donkeys signify the wealth and status of his family during his judgeship, which lasted for 22 years. Question 13. Who was blind but still killed many with his death? A. Eli. B. Bartimaeus. C. David. D. Samson. You get 10 seconds. That's D. Samson. Judges chapter 16, verses 21 to 30 describes Samson's final act. Captured and blinded by the Philistines, he was forced to grind grain in prison. During a public celebration, Samson was brought out to entertain. He prayed for strength and pulled down the temple pillars, killing himself and many Philistines, marking a significant defeat for them, even in his death. Question 14. From under whose table did 70 kings pick up scraps? A. Sisera. B. Gideon. C. Solomon. D. Adoni-Bezek. You get 10 seconds. That's D. Adoni-Bezek. Adoni-Bezek, a Canaanite king, confessed that he had captured 70 kings and made them pick up scraps under his table. Judges chapter 1, verse 7. When the Israelites defeated him, they treated him in the same manner, symbolizing the fulfillment of divine justice and retribution. Question 15. Who lost his supernatural strength when his hair was cut off? A. Gideon. B. Samson. C. Absalom. D. Solomon. You get 10 seconds. That's B. Samson. Judges chapter 16 verses 17 to 19 describes how Samson, a Nazirite with supernatural strength, lost his power when Delilah, his lover, cut off his hair. His hair was the source of his strength as part of his Nazirite vow to God. This act led to his capture by the Philistines, demonstrating the consequences of breaking his vow. Stay with us until the end of the video to see how many Bible quiz questions you got right. Don't forget to note your score and share it with us in the comments section. Let's explore and learn more about the Bible with these fun and interesting questions. Question 16. Who did Gideon fight against? A. Moabites. B. Philistines. C. Midians. D. Ammonites. You get 10 seconds. That's C. Midians. Judges chapters 6 to 7 narrate that Gideon fought against the Midianites, who, along with the Amalekites and other eastern peoples, had been oppressing the Israelites. Gideon, with God's guidance and a small army, defeated the Midianites, showcasing God's deliverance through seemingly impossible odds. Question 17. Which judge was left-handed? A. Ehud. B. Gideon. C. Othniel. D. Jephthah. You get 10 seconds. That's A. Ehud. In Judges chapter 3 verses 15 to 21, Ehud, a left-handed judge of Israel, delivered the Israelites from the Moabites by assassinating King Eglon of Moab with a concealed double-edged sword. His left-handedness played a crucial role in his successful surprise attack, as it was unexpected and allowed him to deceive the guards. Question 18. Who was the leader of the 300 men who defeated the Midian army? A. David. B. Samuel. C. Deborah. D. Gideon. You get 10 seconds. That's A. Gideon. Gideon led a small force of 300 men to defeat the Midianite army. Judges chapter 7 verses 1 to 22. Through God's guidance, Gideon used a strategy involving trumpets, torches, and jars to create confusion and panic among the Midianites, leading to their defeat. This victory demonstrated God's power and the importance of faith and obedience. Question 19. Which judge would not go into battle without a woman going with him? A. Shimei. B. Barak. C. Samuel, D. Jephthah. You get 10 seconds. That's B. Barak. Judges chapter 4 verses 6 to 9 describes how Barak, a judge of Israel, refused to go into battle without the prophetess Deborah accompanying him. Deborah agreed to go, but prophesied that the honor of the victory would go to a woman. This woman was Jael, who killed Sisera, the enemy commander, fulfilling Deborah's prophecy. Question 20. Which judge cut down his father's altar? A. Ehud, B. Samson, C. Gideon, D. Deborah. You get 10 seconds. That's C. Gideon. Gideon was instructed by God to cut down his father's altar to Baal and the Asherah pole beside it. He obeyed, doing so at night out of fear of his family and townspeople. This act marked the beginning of Gideon's mission to deliver Israel from the Midianites and demonstrated his commitment to following God's commands. Judges chapter 6 verses 25 to 27. Question 21. What did Gideon place on the ground to receive a sign from God? A. Bowl, B. Fruits, C. A stone, D. A fleece. You get 10 seconds. That's D. A fleece. Judges chapter 6 verses 36 to 40 describes how Gideon placed a fleece on the ground to seek a sign from God. He asked for dew to appear only on the fleece while the ground remained dry, and then for the fleece to stay dry while the ground was covered with dew. God granted both signs, confirming his promise to Gideon and bolstering his faith for the upcoming battle against the Midianites. Question 22. Who used foxes to set fire to grain and olive orchards? A. Simeon, B. Samson, C. Solomon, D. Shadrach. You get 10 seconds. That's B. Samson. Samson caught 300 foxes, tied their tails together in pairs, attached a torch to each pair of tails, and set the foxes loose in the Philistines' grain fields, vineyards, and olive orchards. Judges chapter 15, verses 4 to 5. This act of vengeance was in response to the Philistines burning his wife and her father, showcasing Samson's resourcefulness and strength. Question 23. Who thrust a sword so deep into a fat king that the hilt went in as well? A. Ehud, B. Gideon, C. Samson, D. Jephthah. You get 10 seconds. That's A. Ehud. Ehud, a left-handed judge of Israel, killed Eglon, the king of Moab, as described in Judges chapter 3, verses 21 to 22. Using a double-edged sword, Ehud thrust it into Eglon's belly, so deep that even the hilt went in, and the fat closed over the blade. This dramatic event led to Ehud escaping and rallying Israel to defeat the Moabites. Question 24. Which animal's jawbone did Samson use to strike down 1,000 people? A. Lion. B. Horse. C. Donkey. D. Camel. You get 10 seconds. That's C. Donkey. Finding the jawbone of a donkey, he wielded it as a weapon, delivering a significant victory against the Philistines. Judges chapter 15, verses 15 to 16. This event highlights Samson's extraordinary strength and the unconventional means by which he delivered Israel. Question 25. Who killed 30 men just to get their garments? A. Gideon. B. Samson. C. Jephthah. D. Abimelech. You get 10 seconds. That's B. Samson. Judges chapter 14, verse 19 recounts how Samson killed 30 men in Ashkelon to obtain their garments. He did this to settle a bet from his wedding feast after the Philistines solved his riddle by coercing his wife. This act demonstrates Samson's intense anger and desire for vengeance. Oh wow, what an incredible journey through the book of Judges, testing your knowledge with some of the most challenging questions from the Old Testament. How did you do? Whether you scored high or learned something new, remember that the Bible is an endless source of wisdom and inspiration, always ready for us to uncover. If you enjoyed this quiz, please give the video a thumbs up and share it with your friends and family. Let's invite them to join this biblical adventure as well. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more quizzes and deep biblical insights. We truly appreciate your feedback, so share your score, any questions or suggestions for future quizzes in the comments. Together, we can continue to grow in our understanding of God's Word. Thank you for joining us today, and may you be blessed on your spiritual journey. See you in the next video.